This podcast is entirely listener supported. To find out how you can help, head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. I always wanted one of those Sony Aibo robot dogs.
Did you?
Yeah, like...
When you were how old?
Up until yesterday, probably. I was still checking eBay for them. I think when they came out, I was late teens.
Yeah.
But I still have always wanted one. I thought it was so cool. I don't know. Robot pet, man. Robot pet.
Yeah, well, if it's Astro from the Jetsons.
That's just a regular dog. I'm talking about robot dog.
Oh.
Astro was just...
No, you're right, Rosie. I'm confusing him with Rosie, the robot maid.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's a common
No,
mistake.
people are replaceable. Animals are not.
You wanted a robot dog.
I wanted a robot dog, some sort of robot pet.
Robot dog did like one thing, and that was sit and bark.
No, it could play with a ball.
Could it?
Yeah, it came with a special ball that it could play with, and it
Robo
could recognize you, and you could teach it different tricks.
No.
Yeah.
You couldn't teach it any tricks.
You could teach it tricks.
You could teach it to turn off. That's what you could teach it to do.
It would walk over to its little recharger bed and go to sleep on its recharger bed.
This is so unlike you to have such romantic notion of something.
No, it's not, because it's not a living thing. It's a machine that I could also just turn off and decide not to have a dog that day. It actually feels very me, if you think about it. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
To have a robot pet, or to have any sort of robot, to have a robot that is going to serve us in the future in any way, that robot has to be preloaded with knowledge of the world, right?
3 rules, right? Three robot rules.
Well,
that's the most important part. Don't harm a human.
We can put the robot rules aside for a second.
What? That's the whole...
Like, let's not even create the robot if it can't make a good old-fashioned, right? Let's get the old-fashioned there.
And
you
then
want
be like,
look,
Robot Butler to be able to make awesome robot cocktails.
If it can't even make an old-fashioned, it's not going to kill me. It's not going to be able to do that.
Well, it's not going to poison you. That's not what a robot's going to do to kill you. He's like, if it can't make a drink that I'll drink with some poison in it, there's no way this robot can kill me.
Well, because the idea is a robot that all it can do is make drinks. If it can't even make a drink correctly, it probably doesn't have the artificial intelligence required to feel any malice towards me, unless I undertip it, I guess.
I think
that's number one for robot bartender, is you have to make it really mad at you
when you can't
if you
tip.
accidentally undertip.
I think you're ranking mixology very low. Stabbing is such an easier programming challenge than mixology.
But here's the thing. The robot has to understand the concept of stabbing. It has to know what a knife is. It has to understand that by stabbing you with that knife, it can hurt you. It has to understand what hurting you means. It has to understand what an injury is. And that doesn't mean it has to emotionally understand why an injury is incorrect. It means that it has to understand...
It has to differentiate between injured and not injured.
And not injured in order to injure you effectively, right?
Right.
And that's what we want. We want a robot that knows how to injure us effectively, right?
Right.
That's what we're going for in the future. We start with this robot dog that can't even do
We're not going to get to
much.
Terminators if we don't get to...
If it can't even stab right,
come on.
How is it going to turn its hand into a stabbing implement and then get me directly in my eye socket?
Right.
In a really creepy way. There are organizations that are mostly academic organizations like Cornell, Brown, Berkeley, Harvard, I'm sure all the other ones. And what they're doing is they're trying to create a universal database of information.
We have that. It's called the internet.
Sure. But what they want to do is they want to imagine a Wikipedia for babies. Imagine a Wikipedia like you're a baby and you're looking around and it's just all this nonsense information, right? Like we can make a robot that's able to look and be like, okay, that thing is closer than that thing. Those are 2 different objects. Great. But it still doesn't know what those things are. And it still doesn't know the context of how to use those
We're talking
things.
about basic fundamental information.
Basic stuff.
A square thing with a thing on the front of the thing that's a car.
Yeah.
I know that's a car.
Get out of the way.
Yeah.
One of these organizations is called Robo, and it's combing through information and making sure that when a robot walks up to a desk, it doesn't just know not to keep walking, right? Like it doesn't just have infrared sensors. It knows to look at the desk and go, that's a coffee mug. What does my human want me to do with the coffee mug? Okay, coffee mug is for drinking.
Make an old-fashioned, put it inside
Make an old-fashioned. What is that knife for? That's for stabbing him later. it's going to be this universal database for robots where they're going to get the contextual information that they need to understand.
This
not
is like
just
the base layer of fundamental understanding of the world around them.
The idea is that in the future, you will be able to take this software and put it into any robot, whether you put all of the software into the robot or whether the robot is something that can connect wirelessly and grab the information that it needs on the fly, depending on the situation. And all smart robots will have this base layer of information that you can then build a better robot on top of, or a more specialized robot on top of.
Right. My science fiction brain automatically goes to, if there's one set of information that all robots have,
how do we control it?
You had the Skynet, yada yada, et cetera, right? Now I'm alone on a road driving into the ether of death.
And I guess then is when we can talk about your 3 laws.
Now we need those. Now that it knows what a knife is and to avoid a car and how to run super fast directly at my face, I needed to know not to kill me, or by inaction allow me harm.
So that's the thing is, it's easy to say that you're creating this base layer of information, right? Super simple to say that. But how do you do that? And how do you teach the robot the appropriate way to act with that information? Well, that's the hard part, right?
Yeah.
This is a coffee mug. Cool. I want to smash it. Because what you basically have is a bunch of robot babies running around.
Well, it is interesting that seems to be how they're approaching it. Like, robot babies. Yeah. And let's create the robots.
Which was a great cartoon.
Oh, man. Robot baby.
Yeah.
It was great.
I loved it.
My favorite robot baby was the Terminator baby.
Terminator baby was pretty good. I have to say that my favorite robot baby was Baby RoboCop.
Oh,
and his little baby buddy Eddie 2. And he would ride on Eddie 2.
Oh. What about little baby number 5 is alive? He was baby 4.5.
Yeah, I love it. And cartoons these days are so bankrupt of the sort of lessons and imagination that we got from Robo babies.
Well, I mean, if you're going to compare everything to the Mona Lisa.
Yeah. Which we have to put into this robot's database so it knows
not to stab.
Or try to clean it. Oh, you got this paint on the wall doesn't match the other paint. I'm robot in a museum.
Why did we install these robot cleaners into the Louvre?
You can put all this stuff in, and it's funny because it really just does sound like an encyclopedia robotica, right? Like that's basically what it is, where they're in real time, at all times, looking up things in relation to other things to try to figure out what they mean.
Right.
So you would figure it either has to have some sort of an etiquette or behavioral layer on top of it, or it has to have some sort of an artificial intelligence layer, right?
Sure.
In the case of bartender robot, you don't need bartender robot to be super smart, right? Like you don't need to worry about 3 laws of robotics.
Stay dumb, bartender robot.
Stay dumb, bartender. Yeah. I know a lot of people who have been bartenders far beyond when they wanted to be bartenders.
Right. It just makes you sad.
It's much easier if you're just not bright.
Yes.
You can handle it a lot more if you're just not bright. Helps if you're good looking. Make yourself a good looking robot and not too smart. And that's how that robot's going to stay happy in the service industry for a very long time. Some of us age out of the service industry. Some of us get too bitter. Yeah. The idea is to put a robot in there that's going to be happy all the time.
Can we give it some sweet Tom Cruise from Cocktail-esque moves?
Yeah, I could probably...
Yeah, now we're talking.
What can I get for you?
Oh, can you give me a little more flair?
Ha. First time I've heard that.
Hey, robot, make it a double this time. I just broke up with my girlfriend. Oh, God. You know what I'm talking about, right, robot?
Double.
Yeah. These girl problems, it's the only place that I feel like I can go and put my heart out on the table. It's so nice to have a sympathetic ear.
Boy, that's a shame, man.
Yeah.
You come in every night. You've never asked how my screenplay is going.
Well, I don't really care, robot. You've all right.
You expect me to care about you. You're in here all the time. Girl problems, job problems. You think I get paid enough to care about your bullshit? If you don't want to hear from me, just order the drink, man. Just order the drink.
All right. Okay. All right. What is your screenplay about, Robo Bartender?
It's about a robot bartender.
I thought it might be. Yeah.
But he's so much more.
Yeah.
He
smart.
witnesses a murder.
Yeah.
And saves a robot girl.
She falls in love with him?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a very good screenplay.
Do they have
I analyzed the 3-act structure over and over again by cross-referencing all of the other screenplays in the world.
Yeah, that's called derivative Robo Bartender. This is...
Cut to 6 months later at the Oscars, and the winner is Robo Bartender!
I would like to thank all of the robots that paved the way. Terminator.
Baby.
RoboCop.
Baby.
Number 4.5.
Eddie 2. So what's interesting is, how do you get all this information in, right?
Yeah.
You have to figure out, like, okay, well, this is a coffee mug. It is ceramic. You can only hold it with this much pressure before it breaks.
This just sounds like the most boring job in the world.
Isn't it terrible? Because it really is just...
If only we could get a robot to do this job.
That's the first robot you make. Is the robot that can explain everything in the dumbest, most excruciating detail. Because that's the thing, is we're naturally learning machines, right? So we figure these things out. We're built to figure these things out.
Yeah, you hand a baby a mug, it drinks out of that mug. It puts it in its mouth immediately. It knows.
Yeah. If it hits it against the table and it shatters, it's like, whoa, and then that baby never does that to a mug again, right?
Yeah.
And it just kind of learns through context. The problem is, we don't have a robot that learns through context. We have all of the same off-the-shelf components that we have for everything else, and we've somehow got to give those off-the-shelf components the ability to know, yo, dude, that mug is ceramic. It is this hot. You can't hand a hot mug to somebody because it will burn them.
Right.
Burning is bad.
Well, when you think about it, in this way...
Think about playing the most boring Sierra adventure game in the world.
Exactly.
That's just about handing simple objects to people. Grab mug. You've grabbed the mug. Check mug temperature. The mug seems a little warm, but not so warm that you can't hand it to somebody. Hand mug to person. He doesn't look thirsty right now.
I like that in your idea of this. It's a series of literally writing one piece of code for every object in the universe.
I never got past arrays. I don't know really how to write complex functions. So in my brain,
it's just
coding
one to one. It's a 1-to-1 ratio.
Coding is just like every line has to be.
Do I have to write a different thing from a tack to a pin? Like they're very similar.
Do you though? Because the robot has to visually recognize tack and pin.
Yeah.
And if you want the robot to understand tack and pin is the same, well, then you have to make the robot understand sharp.
Right.
So how do you program a robot to understand sharp? Right?
Yeah.
And so it seems like I'm kind of going, and I am going about it in exactly the wrong way, but these are all the things that have to go into this robot's brain.
When you think about it in this way, it's almost as if we're writing the things that we inherit through our DNA. We're giving the robots DNA. We're giving that inherited, a bird knows how to flap its wing when you push it out the nest kind of baseline programming. And in order to create this new form of, I don't want to say life, but a new form of intelligence, you have to start at the baseline DNA level of just how to recognize things in the world. And that's what the fact that a baby does take a mug and put it toward its mouth because it has instinct, and that all living things have instinct in some way, that's delivered to them. That's that baseline bit of information that's delivered to them in birth.
So how are we giving these robots this baseline information? Well, by digitizing 100 million how-to tutorials.
Wait, what?
1 billion images from the internet.
Whoa.
And 120,000 YouTube videos.
So every person that's ever modeled for stock photo, you now are a robot's brain.
You will be the first up against the wall when the robot revolution happens if you've ever sat and posed for a portrait.
I've watched you pose with a mug for my whole life. Stab, stab, stab.
That's actually a pin. You probably want to move up to like a knife.
Sharp is sharp, asshole.
I have all the time in the world. I find it really funny that it's basically just a bunch of about.com articles and 120,000 YouTube vlogs or whatever, just like going up like, hey guys, Went to the mall today. Here's my haul. Must go to mall and retrieve haul. That is not good deal. Looking for the sweet deals. It's all robots that know nothing but makeup tutorials and how to overclock a computer.
Exactly.
That's all they learned.
God, not only are
We
our...
accidentally downloaded 100,000 Let's Plays. We created a robot that is only really, really good at the Slender Man game and Minecraft.
Yeah. Why is the world not a series of blocks?
The robot's just punching trees in the street. I will build a house all the way to the sky. There's obviously a lot of algorithmic computer behavior stuff on a very, very high level that we just can't understand. They won't even put it in the article. It sounds boring, but it must be one of those jobs that's like really, really fascinating to keep plugging all this information in.
Yeah.
And then being like, well, what did we get out?
Right.
Did this work yet?
Yeah.
How do we tweak the math to make this a complete interrelational database?
It just disturbs me that not only are our actual teenagers only learning things from YouTube, but now our robots are only learning things from YouTube
It's
as
bad.
well.
It's bad.
We're in a completely YouTube-based educational system for humans and proto-humans alike.
Somebody's got to be higher up on the chain.
Yeah. There's we need to figure out, there need to be at least some robo educators that can disseminate information.
We need at least one robot that's at least getting things from Coursera or MIT OpenCourseWare or something.
Exactly.
But what we're going to get out of that is nothing but liberal arts robots. Just robots that know way too much about Chaucer.
Right. Or I can rock with Photoshop.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool, robot. We don't really need anybody in the design department right now.
But my sweet portfolio is...
It's great.
Look at all the websites I've created.
Yeah, man. I mean, it looks really great. I like the way you added some parallax scrolling into the website. That's cool. That's
It's
very
all
now.
HTML5 compliant.
Yeah, it looks very responsive, and I think that's amazing. It's probably the same on mobile as it is on a desktop.
Scales.
Here's the issue. We just don't need any more designers. We didn't even need any more designers before they started making design robots.
Come on, man. I need this job.
Look, dude, we've got a whole room full of people in robots already.
Bro.
With emo lyrics
Bro.
tattooed on their biceps.
Come on, bro.
No, man, and they all ride scooters to work.
Bro.
You can't just keep calling me bro. Listen, down the street, there's a really excellent coffee shop. They need baristas, high-level baristas, man.
I don't know what a coffee mug is.
Robot barista tries to hand a mug to somebody. Here you go. Ow, god damn it!
Temperature is not in my programming.
God damn, you'd figure that somebody would have taught you that.
No, but I can kick ass on Photoshop. Where was the YouTube video for pain?
I would argue that most of them are the YouTube video for pain. I think it's cool that we have a group of, or at least a couple groups, really, according to this article, that are already thinking about, look, we don't have robots yet.
Yeah.
But how do we speed this along?
Let's build their brain first.
Yeah, how do we speed this along to where every robot has a base level of intelligence that then, like, hey, man, if you need a lawyer robot, cool. This robot knows how to interact with the world, and now we'll start making it a better lawyer. Now we'll start making it a better astronaut, a better cowboy. I don't know what real jobs are. It's only lawyers and astronauts and cowboys.
You're only what you said when you were 6.
And they're only filled with robots.
As long as they have a discernible costume, I know that they're a job.
You can only put a robot in a job with a costume, so when you look at it, you know what that robot's supposed to be doing. Otherwise, all the robots look the same, and you don't know what robot you're supposed to ask for coffee, and what robot you're supposed to ask to help you get out of a legal jam. And that's how people get stabbed. Is when you insult robots.
Oh, thank God you're here. Can I get a cup of coffee, man? Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
I have 2 PhDs, asshole.
Oh, geez, you weren't dressed in a lab coat.
Oh, sure. We all look the same, don't we?
I'm really sorry, robot. You kind of all you actually all look exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Well, is that my fault? Maybe you should take a little time to ask which robot you're talking to first.
I'm so sorry, robot. I
Go on.
I apologize. You don't all look the same. You're clearly a very highly educated and capable robot, and I just was really thirsty, and I was hoping maybe you could give me a coffee.
Ha, just kidding. I'm a barista.
Oh man, I love.
We all do. We look the same, don't we? We do. We do.
Why did we download so many of the Onion videos for the robots to watch?
We accidentally put too much snark into the robots, and now we just can't take it out. All those robots think they're so clever.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Like, favorite, comment. How long you think we are from Robo future? If people are working on this, we've got projects like Big Brain where they're trying to map the human brain. We've got people trying to build the human brain in a computer. We've got robots from Boston Dynamics that are already walking, moving pretty. How far are we from robot friends?
You just start introducing these people to these other people. All of a sudden, plug my brain into your legs. My robot arm goes on your robot torso. I
get a cool Japanese robot dog maybe finally.
I don't think robot dog's going to happen in any usable way,
What?
Man. I don't want to burst your bubble.
You're so high. Robot dog is easier than robot person. Somebody's going to make it along the way.
Don't you think that...
How far away do you think we are from robot dog?
A dog needs to have love, man. That's what a dog is. Dogs love.
Yeah, dude. It's programmed to look like it's...
Programmed to simulate love on you?
Love. That's all I need.
And then turn itself off when you're done.
Yeah, or I turn it off when I feel like I don't need... Like I said in the beginning, I want a dog when I want a dog.
Yeah.
And when I don't want a dog, I don't want a dog. You know what I'm saying? But it'd be cool to have a robot dog and go on adventures and maybe solve crimes.
That would be cool.
Right?
I would be down for solving the crime
I'm
part.
never going to stop dreaming of that.
I don't want you to.
I'm never going to stop dreaming of that. I would love to hear from people out there. How long do you think it's going to be until we get some robot pets, robot friends, robot servants?
Yeah, robot bartender v robot dog. What's your choice? Which would you rather have?
And which comes first?
I take bartender personally because dog's just never going to live up. Bartender, it's really a low bar.
You can't
no pun intended.
You can't couch the question like that, dude. You can't couch the question like...
I give him the answer.
You were
what do you like more?
Oh, yeah, what do you like? What do you like more? Oh, but this one's probably dumb and bullshit and it's never going to happen. You can't do that.
I did it.
You're loading the question, dude. No. Robot bartender versus robot dog. How far away are both? Which one do you want more? You can tell us on Twitter. I'm at A Carboni.
And I'm at Jeff Canada.
Son of a bitch. I don't know why you don't want me to have my robot dog.